Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
It's Friday.
Yes, indeed.
He is Jalen versus everybody.
What up, Doe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2. What do?
We humbly, graciously give the people exactly what they want, when they want it, more importantly, when they need it. Via podcast, television, 2 a.m., 2 p.m.
So, Jalen, yesterday, we did this whole thing where we came back and we announced that we're never going to leave the podcast listeners without a dope pod to step to. We're always going to do this exclusive content, and they can call us and leave us voicemails. Yesterday, after the show, you just bounced.
Yep. We gave exclusive content.
You just bounced.
We gave exclusive content.
I was by myself in here. We did like 4 minutes, and we did not leave the people with a dope pod to step to. Today, we're going to make amends.
Well, we should also tell the people I didn't quote unquote bounce. I walked downstairs to do Sports Center at 9:15.
Well, I mean, you didn't just say F this and walk out of the studio.
9:45.
Of course.
And yesterday I also said on that program that the Raptors would make the Eastern Conference Finals before they went out and thumped the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That would have the Cavs in the 4 seed. And the Celtics in the 1 seed.
Well. You know me too well.
And then the Raptors are going to be, I mean.
You're not supposed to let them know how the sausage is made.
Who's in the 3 seed? Is that you got the Wizards there, or do you have the surging Miami Heat there? Or you probably have the Pistons there, don't you?
Well, here's the deal. Deion Waiters got injured.
Yeah, he did.
Out for the year, ankle surgery. That's a huge blow to my prediction because I was counting on the Heat to really be eye to eye.
I don't see that happening.
With the Cavs record-wise.
No. I could see the Wizards climbing into that spot.
They have to play better against bad teams. They're 500 against teams under 500. They're inconsistent.
We've got the television show today, and we'll always leave you exclusive podcast content. One of the topics that didn't make the television show I want to talk to you about.
And also, too, for the people, is January 12th. And the reason why we only have 3 shows the rest of the month is not because we're canceled.
This is a good PSA.
It's because the Australian Open will be on ESPN, and they need 3 weeks to evaluate if they're going to put us back on in February.
I think they've rescheduled the Australian Open just to get us off the air in the afternoon. But the Cavaliers got waxed by the Toronto Raptors. They got waxed. I tried to watch this game. I kept waiting for the comeback. The comeback never happened. Nothing happened. They just kept missing shots, and the Raptors kept making shots. They played no defense. The Raptors didn't even have Kyle Lowry or Serge Ibaka. Isaiah Thomas was awful. Whew. It was a mess last night. It was so bad. Look how bad it was. LeBron James had 1 assist. Isaiah Thomas went 2 for 15. Raptors out-rebounded the Cavs 63-35. Cleveland allowed a season-high 133 points and gave up 18 three-pointers. Jalen, I always say, don't worry about it. Regular season, the Cavs are going to put it together. They've done this year after year. Does this feel a little different than it has in previous years?
It not only feels different, David Jacoby, it is different. What did you say happened to the Cavs on the road last night? They got waxed. And no program puts things on wax better than us since the Beastie Boys. So I'm going to do that again right now.
Okay, put it on wax, Mr. Rose.
The problem for the rest of the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics don't have Gordon Hayward.
Nope.
The Washington Wizards are inconsistent. And the Raptors still have to see Kyle Lowry play consistently in the playoffs when they need him most. So having LeBron James, I know they've lost back-to-back games by 25-plus points.
Sure have.
I know they're the second-worst defense in the league. I know that Isaiah Thomas struggled, Dwayne Wade, J.R. Smith didn't score, Tristan Thompson has been a shell of himself. I know all of that. But when the playoffs come, there is still not a team capable of beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 4 out of 7 in 2 weeks. So therefore, I can't overreact because they still have LeBron James.
It's hard. They did this last year. They did it the year before. Remember last year they were stumbling into the playoffs. They didn't lose any games. You know, they're still sweeping everybody. So it just feels different this year a little bit, especially on the defensive end. And LeBron, as he does, gets very upset when things like this happen. This is a shot of LeBron James in the huddle from the second quarter when the Raptors took a big lead. He's yelling at everybody. He's finger pointing. And then him and his coach kind of get into it and he's gesticulating. Look at everybody else just listening to LeBron. No one's chiming in and saying anything. And Kyrie Irving, like this when it was posted on Instagram. Is he taking us behind the curtain and showing us a little hint at one of the reasons he requested the trade, LeBron's behavior in that huddle?
Of course he did. That was a move of calculation from a player that didn't get traded to the Nets. Got traded to the Celtics. The possible foe in the Eastern Conference to the Cleveland Cavaliers. A guy that won a championship with LeBron James. He's basically highlighting that James clearly is the one person in the organization that can't be checked. He can yell at the players. He can yell at the coach. He can lose his cool and nobody say a thing. I'm not going to be an all NBA caliber player and sit there and not say a thing.
The thing about this is James, I watch his games. Some of that defensive lapses were on his head. And he had one assist. Granted, he made a lot of great passes and people just missed shots, but it wasn't like James was carrying the team and everyone else was letting him down. Like, James didn't play great either.
Here's what's at play. You have the oldest team in the game, one of the highest salaried rosters in the league that have played long into the postseason the last few years. They're not taking these regular season games versus young, athletic, hard-playing teams without Serge Ibaka, without Kyle Lowry. Kevin Love was like, who is this I'm running out to on the wing? Pump fake going out. Bang, bang. And so what ends up happening during the regular season, and this is not an excuse for the Cavs, but it's a reality. They're playing Kevin Love at the 5 because they understand they got to get ready for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, they seem disinterested. They just seem kind of disinterested. And it is all about the words. And we say this, and we're going to do this again. This is what's going to happen. The Cavs aren't going to play well. We're going to doubt them. We're going to say the Raptors could beat them or the Celtics could beat them. We're going to say maybe LeBron James is going to leave and go to Los Angeles or Houston or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you and I were being really honest with each other, we know the Cavs are going to end up in the NBA Finals again.
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, it doesn't even, the games like this and the one against Minnesota don't change my view of that. Then, even if I had to put a percentage on it, percentage doesn't even go down. I think it's younger teams that have something to prove, play harder than older teams that are really just gearing up, looking at this all as a big practice to get ready for the playoffs.
And a squad that's been to the finals multiple times, has won a championship, has LeBron, and frankly in sports, has shown that they can turn it on when they need to. They didn't go after the number 1 seed last year toward the end of the year. Why? Number 1, they weren't getting it. Number 2, they understood late in the season when they went to Boston and won, we could beat these guys in the playoffs. So for them, Miami just lost Waiters, we can nestle into the 3rd spot. But let me tell you what the Celtics don't want. The Cavs to fall to the 4th spot. Because you know what's going to happen then?
They don't need that. They don't want those problems.
They'll be playing one another in the second round.
And next thing you know, it's Raptors, Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. How many bottles of wine do you think LeBron James drank after the game? He said he drinks after most games.
I would say, if it's a couple of really nice, 2.
2? You think he finished the second one?
Yeah, because
he opened the second one but didn't finish it.
Because I know the trajectory of a flight from Toronto to Indiana. I've done that multiple times.
you know that
That's
one.
Who
You don't got too much time.
No question about it.
Maybe he did one on the plane and then like half of one at the hotel.
Absolutely.
While he was watching re-airs
because
of
your
Jalen Jacoby.
adrenaline's still going. You're not able to fall asleep. And he, like you said, of course he's watching our show.
He's definitely watching our show. Yep. When athletes use social media, oftentimes it gets socially awkward. In advance of the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Jaguars in the divisional round of the playoffs, Le'Veon Bell was talking to an ESPN reporter, and he just happened to mention that if they tried to franchise tag him again, he would retire or sit out of the year. This is right before a playoff game. Now, realizing this would obviously cause a distraction heading into the playoff game, He walked all of that back with this tweet. Here he is, backing it all up, saying, I'm just focused on winning and playing for my brothers. Money doesn't matter. Everything is irrelevant. Jalen, remember Antonio Brown with the locker room video last year? Do you think these sort of off-field distractions can hurt the Steelers on the field?
I think they play a part in the journey. Anytime we have to talk about anything except the next football game, the next play, the next quarter, the next opportunity to get better, 53 men as well as a coaching staff, that's a distraction.
It's a distraction. Whether it distracts the team 1% or 99%, if you didn't say anything, it would be 0%.
Because the flip side of what he said would be Ben Roethlisberger coming out and saying, if we win the Super Bowl this year, I'm going to retire.
And that's all anyone will talk about. That's the problem is you just don't want to give the media something that they can grab hold of and make you talk about for the entire week. Because if you're Le'Veon Bell, you've got months and months and months all summer to start this negotiation. You don't have to start this negotiation now. You don't have to threaten the franchise now. Wait until you lose to the Patriots and then you can start threatening the franchise.
Unless it's Barry Sanders or Jim Brown. Guess what a running back isn't going to do?
What's that?
Retire in their prime.
There you go. Well, this is very important to us and the staff here because we've learned about a woman named Jemima Packington. She lives in the United Kingdom, and she is an aspiromancer. Do you know what that is, Mr. Rose?
I don't know what it is, and unfortunately, I can't spell it either.
I can't either. But she is a medium that can predict the future using the power
I don't believe
of
psychics.
asparagus to predict the future. This is her. She's an aspiromancer. She predicts the future with asparagus. So we've got these huge football games coming up this weekend.
Okay.
We're going to predict the outcome of these football games. Jalen, you're going to use cutting-edge analytics, your own eye test, and analysis. I am going to predict the future using asparagus.
We're going to get canceled for real.
For sure. Saturday's first game, the Falcons versus the Eagles.
I had no parts of this.
Jalen,
executives.
Who do you think is going to win this game?
I wish I had some chitlins to do my side.
Who do you think is going to win, Falcons or Eagles? Chillin's too smelly.
Man, I wish the Eagles had Carson Wentz because from the beginning I felt like they had a legitimate chance to win it all. Since he's not playing football this weekend, Atlanta Falcons. There are two backs out of the backfield.
That sounds like some good analysis, but now...
That ain't even who they play.
We'll get down to the truth. The asparagus is telling me that the Eagles win on a last-minute drive led, not by Nick Foles, by Nate Sudfeld. The backup quarterback that no one has heard of. Nate Sudfeld.
Nate Sudfeld.
Next game. The Titans against the Patriots. Why are you reading papers right now?
Because I'm just...
You got intimidated by my asparagus. You needed some props
the
yourself.
Battle of the Birds. I wanted to look again and see if I wanted to pick Philly, but I still think the Falcons are going to win.
Now, Titans versus Patriots. We don't have to talk too long about this one.
Titans going to get thumped.
Let's see what the asparagus says. Hold on, we need some more asparagus for this one.
No Murray.
Oh, blowout. This is definitely a blowout. But not only that, this slope right here is telling me that after the game, James Harrison and Rob Gronkowski are going to announce they're coming out with an R&B duet album.
Man, this ain't legit. You just dropping them on the table. They have no rhyme or reason.
I don't know what you don't think is legitimate about this.
Let me eat one. I'm hungry.
The next game, the Jaguars against the Steelers.
I'm taking the Steelers because of their offensive prowess led by Ben Roethlisberger, who's actually won a Super Bowl without Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell being productive, high-level players like they are now.
Let's see what the asparagus says. Oh! The asparagus are screaming at me. They're saying the Steelers win, but the asparagus are very concerned that Le'Veon Bell is going to grind them up and smoke them.
I like what you did there.
Good. Finally, the last game. The Saints against the Vikings. This one could go any way. The asparagus are confused, I can already tell.
The backs out of the backfield going to be a problem for Minnesota's linebackers. Drew Brees showing it. He still has it. I'm going with the Saints.
You're going with the Saints? Let's see what the asparagus says.
Shout to Case Keenum, though.
Finally.
And the Vikings defense. I had them in fantasy this year.
This one's weird. The asparagus just keep screaming "Who dat?" and offering me shots of whiskey. That must mean the Saints. Jalen, I know that raw asparagus must be absolutely disgusting, and you are such a champion for eating that. How do you feel about it?
It's nasty.
It's gross. I can't even believe that you ate
I need
that
to wash
in
it
the first
down.
place. Oh, there you go. You got your Better Made Red Hots.
Shout out.
Every day, millions of people go online to search for local businesses. When they do that, does your small business show up? When you create a website on WordPress.com, it makes it easier for your customers to find you, to connect with you, to hear how you can help them. Your business needs an online home. It needs a WordPress.com website. You don't need any experience building a website. WordPress guides you through the process from start to finish. They take care of all the technical stuff, so it's easy to get your site up and running. Their customer support team is made up of WordPress experts eager to help you get the most from your site. They're available 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Plans start at just $4 a month. And all WordPress plans include a custom domain name for the life of the plan. Come see why 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to WordPress.com/Jacoby to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. That's WordPress.com/Jacoby for 15% off your brand new website. You can have a website for your business in days, easily by using WordPress. Go to WordPress.com/Jacoby and have your customers find you and connect with your WordPress.com website. Real talk, we do have a lot of dark days on television, but we had a meeting yesterday and we were like, we got to leave the people with something to step to. So we scheduled days throughout the week that we will be doing podcast exclusive shows. So we will never just leave you for 3 weeks. We're going to leave TV for a few weeks, but we'll always give you a dope pod to step to. Yep. And one of our favorite things about doing the podcast exclusive content is we get to hear from you, our listeners, and our watchers. You can leave us voicemails at 985-80-JALEN. You can also tweet us at Jalen and Jacoby. If you leave a voicemail, we'll put it on the show just like this.
What up, though, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Carmen. I'm calling because even though Jalen is the world statue expert, I think he's also a pretty good seafood expert. Lent is coming up next month. I'm Catholic. My boyfriend has decided that he wants to check out my religion, which is cool. So he's going to observe Lent with me. The only problem is he's not really a fan of fish. And on Fridays, we can't eat meat, but he wants to try fish. So if you had to suggest a fish that a newcomer might like, what would you suggest? Anyway, keep getting those texts. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate the support.
Jalen loves seafood.
And there's nothing like a mate that's making you better.
Exactly.
There was so much in that call, bringing them closer to religion, helping his eating habits, helping his faith, supporting our program.
All wins.
They're a power
all
couple.
Huge wins. All huge wins. Shout out to Carmen.
No question. So to answer your question, Carmen, whitefish.
Whitefish is exactly like a halibut.
Halibut.
So it doesn't even taste like anything.
Sea bass.
It's just you don't want to start with like a strong fish with a strong fishy flavor.
Like salmon.
Yes. You want to you ease into that with the gateway fish, which is like a halibut. Also.
Or sea bass.
Throw some blackened seasoning on that thing.
Yep.
Everybody likes that.
No question.
Everybody likes that.
Grill it. Grill it or put it in the oven at 350.
There you go. My wife likes to put it in the oven in the pan. She pan sears it and then takes the pan and puts the pan in the oven, which is great for her, great for me because it tastes great, but I got to do the dishes. And when you get that grease baked into the pan like that, you know what my move is? Oh, I got to soak it overnight. And guess who's there to clean it in the morning? Not me. Thank you so much for the call. Let's listen to another one, Reg.
What's going on, guys? This is Vinny from PA. Just want to thank y'all for everything you do. Shout out to Reg. And, I'm calling. I had to pause the pod right after I heard Jalen's ukulele verse. Jalen, you got bars. I think you need to reconsider getting in the rap game, especially with everybody doing this mumble rap nonsense. At least yours makes sense. All right, guys, keep doing what you do. Keep getting them checks.
Jalen.
Later.
What up, though?
Earlier in the week, in honor of Tua Tagovailoa. In honor
Championship
of him,
quarterback, Alabama.
He is a Hawaiian. He plays ukulele and sings. So in honor of him, you broke out a ukulele right here on the show. If you didn't listen to it, it was excellent. And you had like a 2-bar verse. Now, you said you made it up on the spot. I don't believe you at all. I do not believe you. I'm not saying I can't be convinced otherwise. I'm just saying I don't believe that was real. I believe that you pre-produced those 2 rhymes for the show and then acted like they came off the dome. That's what everybody does now. Every time you hear a quote-unquote freestyle on the internet, it's not a freestyle, it's a written. And you just did the same thing. It's fine. Everybody does it.
I'm a connoisseur of a lot of things.
Okay.
And you and I have this in common. My favorite thing to do, my favorite thing, period, on earth, besides basketball, is music.
Okay.
And from the time I heard The Message in 1979, it's like a jungle sometime. That makes me wonder how I keep them going under. I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Rats in the front room, roaches in the back. I'm like, you know what?
For me, it was Children's Story from Slick Rick.
And so, from that moment, I made my mind up that I was going to dedicate my life to hip-hop.
Okay.
And it's not just rap music. It's graffiti, it's breakdance, it's DJ.
Ukulele playing.
And so, I also have never, ever tried to rap my own lyrics.
Never in your life? You never put pen to paper and wrote a verse in your life?
I respect the craft so much, and I've been around so much dopeness, I would never waste my time. But what I will do is I'll get a B-side record, or I'll go deeper into somebody's album because I'll listen to all of the dopeness, and I'll be able to say a verse that the person has never heard and make them think it's mine.
Oh, I got you.
When we're beating the table in the lunchroom.
Yep. So you plagiarize.
Absolutely.
And you fake jacks.
Absolutely.
And that's what you did today on this show.
So to fast forward right now, do you guys actually think I take the time to prepare at all for this program?
Point.
Number one.
Great point.
Number
I accused
two,
you of actually preparing for the show.
To
I should
play
know better
a
than
ukulele. Now you're going to have people saying I played it before, which I didn't. Seriously, I was speaking slowly. It wasn't like I was Kendrick Lamar. I could think of words that rhyme. And I just don't know how I got to canceled and ukulele, but it just came out.
It was great.
And don't hate on my bars.
It was daily in ukulele.
But if I did want to rap, I got a ghostwriter.
Who's that?
Royce the 5'9".
Yeah.
Shout out.
I got a ghostwriter.
Shout out to Royce.
Shout out.
He's gonna make it. You can do it for free. You got
or Styles P. Those will be my ghostwriters.
Well, there's one topic I want to bring up that didn't make the rundown for the show, and that is Greg Popovich saying that last summer LaMarcus Aldridge requested a trade. It was the first time anyone had requested a trade in Greg Popovich's career. And he went on to put, one thing I like about him is he's an adult. He put it on himself and said that I overcoached him last year. You know he doesn't believe that. You know if you were his best friend after a bottle of wine, you say, oh, Greg, did you really overcoach LaMarcus last year? He would say, no, he just didn't try. But he put it on himself, said he overcoached him, said he made it simpler for him, and that's one of the reasons that LaMarcus has broken out this year. What do you think about LaMarcus asking for a trade, and what do you think about Greg Popovich's approach?
I think Kawhi started the year injured, so therefore we need you, LaMarcus.
Someone's got to get some buckets. Yeah, someone's got to score. We're going to get to 90
and
somehow.
You know what I said after the Golden State game about you not being aggressive and then you being aggressive and you having up and down moments and you clearly and rightfully so wasn't able to carry us against the vaunted Golden State Warriors once Kawhi went down. You come back into the season, you're still going to be the number 2 option, except Kawhi's hurt. Mm-hmm. So now I bring you into the office. And this is how that works. LaMarcus comes into the building. 4 other people let him know the coach want to holler at him.
How many times has that happened in your career?
It always happens.
Every day?
Not every day, but it just happens.
Yeah, sure.
It randomly happens.
Uh-huh.
And so what ends up happening...
Is it ever good news? It never hey, you played great last night.
80% of the time is bad news.
Yeah.
And so you walk in, the receptionist or the people that's, you know, like a lot of these hot facilities have chefs and kitchens, and you know you have so many nutritionists and trainers,
training room and hot tub room and spa.
Yeah, all of these people like, Coach want to talk to you. As you walk in, Coach want to talk to you. Make sure you go see Coach before you go get changed. The trainer, make sure you go holler at Coach. He's in there right now. And so by the time you've done that, you check your phone, you text your agent, like,
yeah,
Coach,
use the bathroom.
It's almost like you work in this industry and they say HR want to talk to you. Like, I'm texting my agent.
I tried to call HR back one time. I was like, I'm busy. My kids are up. I got to call you back. They're like, no, we need to talk right now.
Correct.
And I was like, oh, no.
And so by the time you get in there, oh, man, it's so warm. But it ain't the dap hug. Because remember, you're going to your boss.
Sure.
And it's a serious meeting. So what they do is they put up that barrier. The desk is in front.
The desk is there. Yeah, reach over the desk.
No question about it.
You're not getting a shoulder bump.
No question about it. Hey, how's the family? You know?
Yeah.
How's the wife?
It's always 30 seconds.
You know, no question.
And
Everything
you can tell
good?
while you're answering that's not what he's not listening
Where
during
you
the
get
answer.
those shoes from?
Yeah.
Man, those are cold. He's like, hey, big fella, we got to talk.
Great game last night, buddy.
Hey, big fella, you know that trade request you asked for? In the offseason, I was actually going to grant it for you.
But we didn't get any offers.
But we didn't get the offers in return for your salary.
We tried.
And your production, because what gets lost in all of this, and I need to defend LaMarcus Aldridge here, he's a really productive player.
In spurts at times.
He's a really productive player.
But if you look what he just did in the playoffs last season, the last things that he put on video for other teams to evaluate during the offseason when you're trying to trade him, they're like, I don't know if I want that.
And as an all-star voter, I'm just saying this off the top of the dome, his team sits at the 4th spot in the Western Conference. It seems like he deserves one of those spots in the All-Star game. So I can't act like if you putting up that type of work in the West that you ain't a productive player.
Sure.
And so now during the conversation, he says, I'm going to write a number on the board. Because you always try to have the player do something that they can achieve, but it's going to take them a lot of effort to do. But something that they like.
I don't like effort.
So like Dennis Rodman, you go grab every rebound. I don't care if you shoot 1 or 2 threes.
Sure.
But grab every rebound.
Yeah, we need 16
Mutombo,
rebounds.
you block every shot, we'll throw it to you on the post. So LaMarcus is the reverse. You take 20 shot attempts every game. That lets me know that you're being aggressive. Now you're going to have 5 rebounds at 6'11".
Yep, 0 blocks.
But that lets me know he's being aggressive, and he's been a really productive player this year.
I haven't done my all-star machinations yet, but do you think that he will be an all-star this year?
When I think about the teams in front of them in the Western Conference, it's only the Warriors. That's KD, and that's Draymond. The Rockets, Capella won't be an all-star.
He shoots 90% from the floor, but he won't be an all-star.
And now you go to the Spurs. LaMarcus, that's the third big up front. He deserves strong consideration.
Yep. Interesting. Well, I do like the fact that Popovich said, if you watch the quote, he was like, we're just not going to get equal value back for you. Like, if they offered us Kevin Durant, like, you'd be in Oakland right now. But we're not going to get back for you what you're worth, so me and you are going to have to sit down and work this out. I know you want a trade, but, like, you don't always get what you want as Miss Jagger.
And I know you want to be featured. I know you want to shoot the ball. So take 20 shots a game. Carry us. And on the nights that he has 17 and he goes 4 for 17, just look at him.
So how many players in the league, and this is interesting, how many players in the league do you think coaches wish took more shots? Like, what percentage do you think coaches wish took more shots? What percentage do you think coaches wish took less shots?
If you follow the sport really closely, I'm not going to act like I made this term up, but open for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And you'd be surprised that number is a lot lower than you consider. I would say there's probably 10% of the players in the league that their coaches wish they shot more.
More. And probably, 80% that wishes the coaches wish they shot less, and 10% that are in the right spot.
No, 80% wish they took better shots.
There you go. That's a good distinction. LaMarcus does take good shots. He doesn't take wild shots.
Correct.
When he misses, they're always like,
he can score.
They're 13-foot turnarounds.
That right shoulder turnaround jumper from the left wing is money.
He's always turning the same way.
He's 6'11".
He always posts up on the same side. Yep. Like, isn't there at some point, like, how many times do I have to watch a Spurs possession where they dribble down, pass it to the wing on the left wing, and they dump it into LaMarcus, they cut through, and then they just watch him do whatever he's going to do?
I got to tell the fans a dirty secret from the history of basketball. These players are as skilled as any era of all time. And I'll say this about the older era, that players only could post up on one box and be efficient. You have players that
of
post
course,
up
there's
90%.
some that can do both.
Usually,
like McHale and Akeem aren't like I can only post up on the right side.
correct. You'd have right-handed players that prefer the left, and you have left-handed players that like to post up on the right. That's just normally how it works. So they can go to the middle with their strong hand.
Where do you like post up?
12
feet away in the right block.
Right block. Turn around, Jay, all
12
day.
feet away?
Oh, yeah, about 10 to 12 feet.
So you can dribble to the hole if you have to.
No question. Right hand, right shoulder to the middle, jump hook.
Perfect.
Turn around left.
We got time for one more voicemail.
Jalen and Jacoby, what up, though? It's your boy Luke out here in Parachute, Colorado, calling it in. Hey, so glad to have you guys back. I missed you guys over the holiday. And congratulations on the 2 p.m. spot on ESPN2. We don't have TV, so I'm strictly a podcast listener. But I'm sure you guys will be great there on television. Big shout-out to Reggie. And I wanted to tell you guys a quick story. I took a flight to California. I went with my wife to have Christmas with her family. And a gentleman that was working on the flight, he had killer waves, man. He had like the Gumby thing up top, like he had the longer hair on top, but he had the waves like going up the side of his head, man. And I just stopped him. I said, dude, I got to tell you something personal. Those waves are awesome. And you seem to really appreciate that. And he gave me a pound. And he said, yeah, getting them on the side is the hardest. And I said, well, shoot, man. I started talking to him and I told him about the podcast. So hopefully he took my advice and now has this dope pod to step to. Another question for you guys. I got 2 questions. One, Jalen, I remember hearing you say that when you were growing up, it was like Chuck D was your uncle and Mary J. Blige was your aunt. So I'm wondering with you guys, I kind of feel like you guys are my uncles because I listen all the time and I get a lot out of it. But I'm 28, soon to turn 29, so I don't know if you guys are old enough to be my uncles or if that kind of makes you my cousins. And then also, we got a new baby coming in April. Shout out to my wife, Supermom, Katie Darlin. But I tell you what, she got some essential oils for the baby because you can't really give a baby a lot of medications and stuff. So she got these essential oils for when we need it. And I'm wondering if you guys have even heard of essential oils. Because if Jalen and Jacoby hadn't heard of them, they must not be that essential. And if you had, I'm wondering if they're cultural or not. Hey, appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep giving the people what they want, and I'll keep stepping.
All right, a couple things. First of all, Luke from Parachute. This
Amazing
is the 3rd
caller.
time he's called in. He had a lot of topics for us. I'm just going to go on a limb here, Jalen, and I'm going to say that Luke probably looks a little bit more like me than he does like you. I'm just going to throw that out there.
True.
Most likely, Luke is of the Caucasian persuasion. I don't know. It's just a voicemail, but who knows? So first things first, he gets on a flight and sees someone with some waves working on the flight, and he compliments them. One thing I love about this is, just like myself, Luke is learning about waves through the pod. Yep. You know, if Luke didn't listen to Jalen Jacoby, he's not saying anything to this guy on the flight, and the guy on the flight never gives him a pound, and they don't connect. You know?
Luke told him to listen to the pod.
Exactly. That's another thing. Luke is telling people to listen to the pod, which is one thing that we always love. We love when you listen, but we love it more when you spread the word.
We got to make sure you reach out to us, Luke, so we can send you something.
Then,
Shout out.
Luke asking if we're old enough to be your uncle. See, Luke, I've seen a lot of non-traditional families. People have uncles younger than them. Yeah. there's no age limit on uncles. We've all met that, like, there's 2 people, like, hey, my name's Steve, and this is Bob. He's my uncle. You're like, y'all the same age.
It's the level of the person's it's the level of the person's ability to be mature. Like, Juwan Howard is my uncle, and I'm older than him.
Yes, exactly. Another thing is, he touched on 2 things that are cultural. We'll get to the other one in a second. Aunties and uncles are cultural. Yeah, see, in the Caucasian world, your uncle is your father or your mother's brother. That's kind of how it works. But my wife is black, so now everybody that comes over the house is an uncle or an auntie. My children have aunties and uncles, like a list of 40 of them.
And also, too, there's a level of age and respect that goes with that. Mm-hmm. So in theory, on paper, traditionally, a lot of people that Quincy may call uncle or auntie are actually their cousins, and take it a step further, probably not even blood related to him.
No, not at all. Your Uncle Jalen, Quincy never calls you Jalen. Has he ever called you Jalen once? Never. Your Uncle Jalen.
Perfect example.
Yeah, there's no blood relation between you and my son that I'm familiar with. You know, that I know about. Let's just say that. Nothing's 100% in this world.
Yes, that is.
Yeah, I know, he looks just like me. But there's the last thing that's cultural here is the essential oils. What are essential oils to you? Olive? I'm going to go olive oil. That's essential.
Essential oils to me, lavender.
Huh. I don't know what essential oils are.
Nope.
And I also think they are cultural.
Yep.
The word essential makes it cultural.
The only like olive oil is not even essential.
I'll tell you,
I need oil in my car. That's the only essential oil I deal with.
I got one for you.
Minivan oil. That's all I need.
Grease. Is that cultural?
No, that is not cultural, Jalen. The movie might be cultural. Thank you so much for listening to Pod. We will always leave you with a dope pod to step to. Next week, it looks like we're going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday because the Australian Open has been rescheduled to get us off the air.
3 days? I thought you said we was only doing Wednesday.
We're on TV on Monday. So we do Wednesday, Friday.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry, Jalen. You're going to have to work for 3 hours next week. I'm sorry. My bad. Thank you so much for listening to the pod. Don't forget, be like Luke. Don't just listen to yourself. Tell a friend to subscribe to the Jalen Jacoby podcast. Make sure you DVR the show.
Show the draft.
And show the draft.